Removing the dust covers from my layout. A simple Chinese blind system with vinyl failed prints from my friend at the print shop, and they just tie up on top. These are not perfect in keeping the dust out, but they do eliminate quite a bit of dust coming onto the layout. The rest of the layout with dust covers down. Five-year layout update, Waterkloof Model Railway. The second level stations are almost all finished. This is the station of power, where there's a coal-fired power station, which is in picture at the moment. And in front there is a little spur track for the coal-fired power station to receive parts and oil, etc., etc. That leads off from the main line, which runs all the way down, but we'll continue with that. Continuing on from the power station, you'll see a rock face that is hiding the hidden staging tracks, and in order to see the hidden staging tracks, that you do not foul the turnouts, there is a mirror mounted above, so that you can see all four tracks. From this angle the camera is, you can only see 2.5 of them, and the white painted sleeper is the fouling point marker or clearance marker, so you need to stop behind that marker in order not to crash into any other trains that is coming in or out of the staging yard. Occupation of the staging yard is with this little panel. The green LEDs will light up when the track is open, and the red ones will show if there's a locomotive parked inside one of these lines at the back, one of the 4 staging tracks. There's been a lot of talk about signature scenes, and I think this is one of the signature scenes on my own railway. The bridge across a dry riverbed, and you can see the mountaineers climbing up the mountain, and also the wildlife at the bottom in the dry river gorge. And when trains come rumbling over this bridge, it is quite a sight. As we continue from the bridge, see the rock face and the greenery getting more sparse, and then we get to another turnout and the push button that operates the turnout, and this leads to the spur that goes to the coal mine. The coal mine had been planned for quite some time, and it is eventually now being built, and some detail has been added, like the backdrop, the log loader for the loads of logs that come in, and also one of the new additions to the rolling stock is an explosives wagon, which I will show you. The explosives wagon coming into view, as well as the rough timber wagons bringing rough timber into the mine, and the mine also sports its own little shunting locomotive. Some close-up detail of the mine. You see the mine shift workers waiting to go down the hoist, and the track still needs the buffer stop at the end of the track. As with the rest of the layout, the signal system is fully operational. And automatically changes to red once the train has passed. From Vlakteplaas, the train progresses into what would be the main passenger station, and that is in the town of Bloemfontein. We will take a closer look at this station. Some of the Free State, or Bloemfontein is a town in the Free State, and some of the businesses that are well known in that area: OVK, the Oos-Vrystaat Koöperasie, translated the Eastern Free State Co-op, Averbachs, which is a very well-known business, and Musgrave, which has sadly had to close its doors. They were a very well-known arms manufacturer. Another well-known business in Bloemfontein is the DIY superstore that used to be Vermeulen Staal. As we continue our tour, we see the signals for Bloemfontein, which has 3 platforms plus a main line. At the moment there are some freight trains in Bloemfontein, and if we move on to platform 1, we'll see the Clark luggage trolley motor and some luggage trolleys. And if we look down a little bit, we see a vehicle receiving a parking ticket for parking very badly and at an expired parking meter. Then there's also the footbridge giving access to the second platform, and the station building itself, which has got quite a bit of detail. We have a look at the guy sitting at the table with some mugs or glasses on the table, and I will try and get the light on inside so you can see that is also a well-known landmark, the Old Shoot pub. The interior of the Bloemfontein station building, and then if we look at the Old Shoot pub, we can actually see 2 guys playing pool inside there, if I can just get it so the light's not too bad. And on the upper floor we can see the bar counter at the back, as well as the place where people need to go once they've had a couple of beers, the bathrooms, and then also the ladder leading up to the second floor, plus some coin-operated machines at the bottom there, dispensing cigarettes, etc., etc. Then leaving Bloemfontein station, we find the signal box, and then we come into the building yet to be named, and then we start moving into Vlakteplaas. Vlakteplaas is home to a grain silo. Next to the grain silo there's a new addition, the Vlakteplaas fruit packers, or Vlakteplaas vrugteverpakkers in Afrikaans. Vlakteplaas has also received a full photographic backdrop, which helps to make it very realistic. And we are currently looking at the feedlot and abattoir. That is also rail served, and in front of that the platform starts. Next to the abattoir and feedlot we can see a little railway shed, and then the passenger platform with a water crane for steam locomotives, as the major steam depot is at Vlakteplaas. In the background we can see the coaling stage, and in the foreground with the truck that is half submerged, that is the ash pit, or part of the ash pit. The station building, which is still under construction, and you'll notice the lady performing on the scale because it is not giving the reading that she would want from the scale. The steam running shed and the blowdown towers and water tank behind it, all part of Vlakteplaas. And if we pan, just excuse the light reflecting from the backdrop, then we can see the trestle running up to the coaling stage. And some exciting things have happened on the layout in the past year, one of them being that the two levels are now connected. The first of the two connections have been made, as I'm showing you there, and then it continues to climb behind the dispatches panel all the way up to connect to the second level. The dispatches panel itself has also received a bit more work. As you can see, Bloemfontein Station has all the signals controlled from here. Vlakteplaas has the buttons for the signals and the turnouts. Waterkloof is complete, as is Aloes, and then a new addition is the tablet that controls the turnouts for Bloemfontein and for also Power. So I can select the turnouts for Power, the staging yard, and for Bloemfontein, the passenger station, all from the dispatches panel via the tablet and the Z21 app. Taking a trip with a empty coal train around the layout. Passing Aloes Cement Works. Passing behind East London Harbour. And into Waterkloof. Coming into Waterkloof Yard, arrival and departure track. And running straight through. Passing behind some of the railway houses. to the second level. Arriving in power. Crossing over the signature scene of the bridge. Running into Bloemfontein. And from Bloemfontein, behind the grain silos in Vlakteplaas and behind the fruit packers, and into Vlakteplaas itself. One of the other projects for the past year was rebuilding the 15F locomotive. It has been equipped with a decoder and has now become a tender drive using a Bachmann Spectrum 44 tonner as a sacrifice locomotive. So the tender is now driving it. It also has firebox flicker and it runs beautifully with the tender drive. All the wheels have been replaced to be closer to prototype size. And it also has a very slow mode on the decoder for shunting.